Hey there, everybody. We are going to do a playthrough of the Battlestar Galactica game. This is a game that we said we would learn how to play, and we're using a program called Spell Table, which is used mostly for Magic, but we're going to be using it for Battlestar Galactica. This is the first time using this sort of format, so we're curious to see how this kind of works out from a formatting standpoint, but we're going to be playing through the sort of quick start game. So we purchased some starter decks. As you can see, both Steve and I have some. And we're going to be just going through the first 5 turns and then sort of reflecting on how it is afterwards. So, Steve, I think you're going to be the captain of this this game. So I'm going to hand it over to you. Any thoughts at the top?
Yeah, this will be fun. I've read through the quick play guide, and this is, I think we mentioned this in the last video. This is a guided step-by-step game, kind of like what you'd get in a modern board game that teaches you to play while you play. So it'll be fun. And I think this might be the only video showing how to play the Battlestar Galactica CCG on YouTube anymore or ever. It's kind of fun to be the only of something on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We hope to not be the only ones. Hopefully other folks pick this up. This was cheap. I think we got these starter decks for like $7 or something, $8 off Category 1 games. So if you think this looks cool, this game is very inexpensive. So let's get to it.
Yeah, so these out of the box, there's two 31 card decks. It's 30 cards plus your base. I'm going to be playing Colonial One, a more politics focused deck, I guess. And Matt, you're playing
the Galactica. So this is a little more like military focused, from the show, so
yeah,
the Battlestar
exactly.
Galactica.
Right. So we're following along with the quick start guide. So everybody, we both have our base out, and then together the bases form the colonial fleet, just like in the show. And then we each have a starting influence number. Mine is 10, and that's generated by probably, I don't know if you can read this on the screen, but on the card itself it says influence 10. So I've set my life counter on spell table to 10, which is our influence counter from here on out. And Matt has set his to 9, which is the Galactica's starting influence. And then each player is going to draw their starting hand, which is determined by the base you're playing. But both of these fixed cards have a hand of 4. So we'll both draw 4 cards to begin the game. And these starter decks are actually in a sequence to them to make the quick start tutorial work properly. So it's there's a certain order which we made sure we maintained. Okay, so we're going on to turn 1 now, and each turn has 3 phases: a ready phase, a execution phase, and a Cylon phase. And Matt is the first player for this game, so following along, he's going to move to his ready phase. And in the ready phase, he's going to move cards from the reserve area to the alert area, restore assets and bases that have been used by flipping them back face up, kind of like untapping in Magic. And there's none of that. Nothing is turned face on right now, so we skip all that. And then all players are going to simultaneously draw 2 cards from the top of their decks to form their hand. So we'll both draw 2 cards at the ready phase.
So is this on top of the 4 cards we have? So we
yeah,
have
that's exactly right. You should have 6 cards in your hand.
Okay.
And now each player is going to play a card from hand to our resource area, which is the first row that will build out next to our base. So next to my Colonial One. And for those of you, I think I mentioned the last video, this game at first glance seems like kind of a mashup of various other CCGs. And one of those is that it's mana. Well, this is kind of like playing your lands, your mana and Magic. You can play any card from your hand as a resource. And rather than doing whatever the card does, it's going to generate a resource as indicated in the very bottom line. And those resources are persuasion, logistics, or security. So he's holding Starbuck, very bottom right of your Starbuck card. You see like the Galactica symbol, and that is a security icon. So the quick start guide is indicating that, so in the game, whoever goes, we share all the phases of our turns.
Yep.
And the person with the lowest influence goes first. And since Matt, you have 9 influence, you're going to go first to play a card from your hand to your resource row. And the quick start guide says, play Starbuck. Play that directly to the right of your Galactica. So actually slide your Galactica down So that's like between your deck and your Starbuck, because the Galactica generates one security resource, and Starbuck also generates one security resource.
Okay.
Yep. So now you have two resource stacks, as they call them, the Galactica and your Starbuck. All right. And now we go down to, so now I'm going to go ahead and play a card to my resource row, but I'm going to do this in a slightly different way. I am going to, you can also, rather than creating a new resource stack like you did, I can play any card from my hand face down under an existing resource stack to boost the amount it's generating by 1. So I'm going to play a card. I'm going to show you. I'm going to play a card called Condition 1 that I'm not going to use for its value, for its effect. And so I'm going to put it face down beneath my base, so beneath my Colonial 1, like that. And so, so I wouldn't have to show what the card is in a real game, but I just did for the video. So now my stack is producing, I'll make sure we can see this here. It has a persuasion resource, and now it's producing 2 of that resource because it's got a card stacked underneath it, which is kind of an interesting mechanic, I think.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
Gives you a lot of flexibility, I think, for how you generate these resources.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so now so each player can only play 1 card to his resource area in this way each turn. So now the ready phase is complete. So I guess you have a choice of creating a new stack or boosting an existing stack. We'll go to the execution phase now, and Matt, I think you're up for this one.
Okay. So execution phase, I am going to, following along with this guide, this totally new game.
I think you're playing to play Raptor 227.
Raptor 227
in the 4th panel of this guide.
Yes.
Yep. So so Matt's playing it to his reserve area, which is you have your resource area, reserve area, and your ready area, and your alert area.
So this costs 2 security to play.
Yes, and you've got that 2 security. 1 is being generated by your Galactica, and 1 is being generated by that Starbuck card in your resource row.
So I think you flip these this way to show that they're exhausted.
Yeah, exactly right.
Utilized.
Now I'm going to go ahead and play a personnel card, which they call characters, to my reserve. I'm going to play Billy Kakea here, and Billy's. Yeah, love Billy. He requires 2 persuasion, and I've got that from my Colonial 1 that's got a card stacked, and I'm going to flip that down. Okay.
So I think you're going to pass. There's another
resource.
Yeah,
I'll pass. I have no resources left. Go to the Cylon phase. So players are going to check for a possible Cylon attack by adding together the red Cylon threat values in the lower right-hand corners of all cards on table. So Billy's got a 2, and what is that Raptor?
I've got a 2 as well. So looks like our value is 4. So I think,
and that is lower than what's called the fleet defense level. And the fleet defense level is the total of the power of your entire fleet, I believe. So I think maybe we have if we have a way to write that down, but we don't know this. So my power is 5 of the Colonial 1, and the Galactica is, what is it?
Galactica is, I believe, 6.
Okay, so if our fleet defense level is 11, which is higher than the Cylon threat level, so no Cylon attack occurs this turn.
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
And we... You still there, Matt?
Yeah, sorry, I disconnected my computer accidentally.
Oh,
excuse my language.
I'm sure we'll edit that out in post-production.
Yes. So I'm going to write down our fleet value, or fleet defense is 11.
Cool. And we finish turn 1. We go to turn 2. Okay. All players are going to ready the cards in the reserve area. So we're going to push the cards in the reserve area to the alert area. So Billy slides up 1 level to alert. and
Okay.
so does your raptor, I think. So that's, I guess, your equivalent of like characters or personal ships that had like summoning sickness, I guess, or magic, now are ready to do their thing. And we're going to flip up our exhausted resources and draw 2 cards from the top of the deck.
Okay. So we essentially untap our resources.
Basically,
Okay.
yes, yes. You still have the lowest influence, so you're going to go first for playing resources.
Okay. Do I draw 2 again?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so you should again have 6 cards in your hand.
6 cards. So, I'm gonna play Crash down here, and he's gonna go face down beneath Starbuck, which is interesting. So he's gonna give her another security. So it's like shoring up my resource base. And then I think that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I'm going to play a colonial well, yeah, we wouldn't have to say, but I'm playing a colonial shuttle that I don't need to use right now. I'm going to play this face up as a new asset. So now I have another persuasion stack going. And I think like when you flip these down to exhaust them, you have to use the total amount of them, which is why I'm creating a second stack rather than putting this one down to create a stack of 3. So that I can exhaust them in different denominations, I guess. All right, that's it for the ready phase. We go to the execution phase. So it looks like an alert ship or personnel can be used to challenge your opponent. And this can result in a loss of influence for him or her, getting me closer to victory. And I can't remember if we said this at the top of the video, but you win the game if your influence reaches 20. You lose the game if your influence reaches 0. And this is potentially a multiplayer game, so people can begin dropping from the game as their influence goes to 0. Okay, so you're the first player, Matt. I think you might want to challenge me.
So I'm going to challenge you using this Raptor. So Raptor 227, I'm going to challenge you. So I believe you can choose to alert any ships that you control, but you only have a personnel, so the defender needs to be the same type. So you can only challenge ships with ships, personnel with personnel.
Right.
So I think you pass as no defender is chosen.
Yep.
You get to play ability cards, which I think are kind of like interrupts or spells, right?
That's right. That's right. Yep.
I don't think you have anything to play there.
Right. That's right.
So Raptor 227 has a power of, final power of 1 here.
That's right.
So I think you're going to lose 1 influence.
Yep, I'm going to do that. And tick me down to 9 influence.
Yep. And so we're keeping track of that right there. All right. That ends the challenge. I commit. So I'm pulling this back now. So he goes from this active area to this reserve area. So that's kind of how
alert area back to reserve. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Billy now to challenge because I've got a personnel you don't. So you have no personnel to defend with, so I think you're passing.
Yep, that's correct.
You have probably no abilities or events to play. So I then get an opportunity to play an ability or event. I don't have anything right now, so I'll pass, and the challenge is resolved. Billy's total power is 1, so we're going to reduce your influence to 8, and I commit Billy back to the reserve row.
Okay, I think we're kind of getting a flow here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play, let's see here, this Colonial Viper 113 to my reserve area. That's going to exhaust and flip down. So it's a total of 3 security to play, and these are all going to be flipped. So I have no more resources.
It looks like you can. I guess you can challenge, or you can play things during the execution phase in either order you want, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
All right. I am going to play a press junket card, and this is what is this? A mission. A press junket could face up to my reserve area. This card has no cost to play it. In a later turn, it will move forward into my alert area. And if I have the right units in play, I can then resolve the mission using its game text. So it says resolve 1 ship, gain 2 influence. Pretty straightforward. Um, then you have an opportunity to play things, but I don't think you have any resources
Nope, I'm
left.
out of resources here.
Okay. So in that case, I will go ahead and play my own card. I'll play a ship, a luxury liner, to my resource area.
That's the back row, yeah.
Yeah. So is it supposed to wait? Is it supposed to go to the resource area? I thought it's
Because that's going to give you 2 persuasion, right?
Yeah. It costs 2 persuasion, so I will exhaust my base to pay for it. But I'm just wondering if this is a typo because I'm not playing it as a resource. I think that actually is a typo in here.
Yeah, because I
Because
thought
it should get to the
resources were
reserve
free to
area.
play,
They
right?
are. Yeah. So those of you who are following along with the deck, I'm pretty sure this is a yeah. If you have your own starter deck here, I'm sure that's a typo. It should say to your reserve area because it wouldn't make sense to go to the resource area.
Yep.
And we also both already played our resource earlier in the turn. So anyway, and yeah, that happens only during execution, playing of only during ready phase when you play resources. Okay. In any case,
Cylon's phase. So
I'm sorry. You do play resources at the beginning of execution phase, but you only get to do it once per turn. So that's why that happened.
So my total number is 3 over here for the Cylon phase. What's your number at?
Mine is so yours is 3. Mine is 2.
So
the Cylon threat level is 5.
Yep, and our defense is 11. So I think we're still good there.
We're still okay. Yes.
All right, let's go to turn 3.
Yeah.
So both players ready the cards in the reserve area. So these guys move up from reserve to ready area. We each draw 2 cards.
Yep.
And I'm going to play. I'm going to untap these as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to play a card underneath the Galactica to add another security here.
Okay. I am going to then play a card face down as a supply card under my Colonial Shuttle. So now I've got 2 persuasion coming from each of these. Yeah, let's go to execution phase. Oh yeah, so yeah, these. Okay, so you do play resources during the ready phase, not during execution phase, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. So moving to execution, I'm going to challenge you with this Viper here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it has a 2 a total power. Mm-hmm. Can you defend?
I could defend, but I'm going to decline to defend. And the reason is I want to save my alert ship to resolve this press junket mission later in the turn. So I'm going to go ahead and decline that challenge.
So you're going to take 2 damage and your influence is reduced to 7.
Yep. Let me do that.
You know, it's funny thematically that we're sort of like, battling for influence, but I'm using like ships to damage you.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite click in my brain as far as the thematicness of it.
Like I think it's one of the previous videos that there were episodes where there was sort of conflict in the fleet. I think early in season 2, and then at the end of the show. But that's not what most of the show is about. It's mostly about surviving the Cylons' repeated attacks and infiltration and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know about how much this fits, but we'll see once we get to the Cylon phase if it feels more real.
So you're going to resolve your press junket, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to resolve press junket. So the resolve says resolve 1 ship, gain 2 influence. So to do that, I have a luxury liner here. That's my ship. So I will then I'm going to increase my influence back up to 9. And then I'm going to put the mission card in my discard pile.
Okay. So I'm going to challenge with my Raptor 227.
Okay. I am going to this time defend with my luxury liner.
So just a note there. I think he wanted to resolve his junket before exhausting the luxury liner, right?
That's
If
right.
he would have done it first, then he couldn't have resolved the mission.
Right, because I think it would have been. Well, we'll see what happens here, but I think it might not have been. It might have either been discarded or I think it would have been discarded because it has less power than yours. We'll find out here what happens. I have the first chance. So you have the first chance to play abilities and events during this challenge, but you pass, right?
I do pass. I don't have anything to play.
Okay. So now both players, we both have ships here. We're going to reveal a mystic value from the top of our deck. Okay, this mystic value is definitely not the same thing as a destiny number in Star Wars CCG. All right, mystic value. So we flip the top card of our deck, and the mystic value is, I believe, the number right next to the Battlestar Galactica property logo, center right.
So I drew a 2.
And I drew a 1 on this Hilo card. So we're going to add those numbers to the power of our ships. The power is in the shield icon. So we have a total power of 2.
I have a total power of 3, so 2 plus 1 here.
Yeah. So you're going to win the challenge, and my luxury liner is defeated and put in the discard pile.
I'm assuming these mystic cards are that just goes to the bottom of the deck here, probably.
Yeah, let's see what happens to them.
Yep, they're putting.
Yep.
They're putting the discard pile. Interesting.
Yes, they're putting the discard pile.
That's fine.
And I think there might be a way to circulate them back up later in the game. I'm not 100% certain about that, but
so the challenge ends. My cards are exhausted or put back in the reserve, and then I believe you're going to play.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play Laura Roslin, Madam President. There she is, the foil version, no less.
Very cool.
Now I'm going to have to resolve. She has a persuasion cost of 4, so I will exhaust my Colonial 1, which is a 2 persuasion, and this shuttle 2 persuasion as well. All right. And now, I think you have a thing you can do with your Galactica now.
Yeah, has a game text. So I can exhaust the Galactica to target one player to lose influence.
Ooh, okay.
So just with that battle, he didn't suffer any influence loss because he blocked it with his ship, right?
That's right. Yeah.
No overflow damage, at least not in this tutorial. So, but I'm going to exhaust this Galactica to give you 1 damage. You can kind of see that's a part of the ability text here.
Yeah. So I'll go to 8.
Okay. I think you're going to attack me with Billy here.
Yeah. So now I'm going to go ahead and challenge with Billy Kakea. And you have no defending personnel right now.
That's correct. I'm going to 7.
Yeah, we go to 7. And we go to the Cylon phase.
I think we're safe from Cylon. I think we're at 8 here.
Yeah, we're at 8. We're totaling all the red Cylon numbers on the bottom right of our cards, which is less than the fleet defense value of 11.
How many? I only have 3. How many do you have? 5?
Yeah, because Laura Roslin has a 3 threat, and Billy has a 2. You know, this actually reminds me a little bit of Lord of the Rings TCG, the Twilight Pool kind of increasing with the heavier hitters you bring into play, right?
Yeah. Okay, turn 4. So we're both going to move our stuff to our active pile. We're both going to sort of untap all this stuff.
Okay, and we're both going to draw 2 cards.
Draw 2 cards. Okay, cool. I have less influence once again, so I'm going to go first.
Mhm.
I'm going to play something underneath Starbuck to keep on building up my resource pool here. So this is going to now have 3 total security.
Mhm.
I think that's all I'm going to do. I think you're going to do something similar.
Yeah, I'm going to play a Hilo card, a card face down beneath my Colonial Shuttle. So now the Colonial Shuttle generates 3 persuasion. And that's the end of our ready phase. We go to our execution phase.
All right, I'm going to exhaust all my resource stacks to play my dude William Adama, Patriotic Soldier.
There he is.
So this is going to cost me 5. So this is all, and this is the is this the cost here?
Yep, that's the cost. It's whichever one has the number next to it.
Okay.
Presumably, I suppose in non-star decks you could have some that have mixed resource values.
So I think you're going to challenge me with Laura Roslin here.
Yep, I'm going to challenge with Laura Roslin, and you still have no person on your alert area, so you can't defend.
Yep.
And her power is 3, so it'll reduce your influence down by 3, so you go to 4.
Okay. Pretty big hit there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to challenge you with Colonial 113.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can defend here much.
No, I have no ships right now. So your power is 2, is that right?
Yep, so you're going to be at 6.
Yes, that's right. Let me reduce myself to 6. All right.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and play a Raptor now to my support area. I'll play Raptor 342, which has a 2 persuasion cost.
And that's going to exhaust your Colonial Shuttle.
Yep.
So looking at defense values, we're at 11, which means there will be a Cylon threat later this turn. So that's what happens. You
Yes.
put more stuff out.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, and it says So because it will be a Cylon attack, we're keeping some things in our alert area ready to go for that. Okay.
Cool.
All right. So we go to the Cylon phase.
I think you flip your base to play the ability here. It looks like.
Right. I forgot about that. So I'm gonna.
Influence.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I can exhaust this target player gains 1 influence. So I'm going to exhaust my Colonial 1, so I gain 1 influence. Okay, I'll go to 7. All right. So now we go to the Cylon phase. Yeah. Right.
Yep. It looks like we both reveal the top card of our deck, and then we look at the Cylon threat number here. So in my case, it's 3. In your case, it's 1.
That's right.
I go first because I have the lowest influence. I choose to challenge the power 1 threat with my Raptor.
Okay.
So I have this Raptor here in this active pile. So I'm going to challenge it.
Okay.
And you act as the Cylon player, which means that you can play abilities and events for the defending Cylon threat.
Right.
Pass, as I don't think we have anything.
No, I think some. So some cards, I don't know if any in the starter deck. I don't think any in the starter deck, but some cards have text in red, which then it'll do that during a Cylon attack rather than during a regular card play.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm actually Cylon player. I'm going to pass, not play any events or anything like that.
Yes. So I'm not going to play anything, but I think we're both going to draw a mystic number.
Yeah, mystic value.
All right, so I drew a 2.
And I also drew a 2. So that's going to be a total power of 3 for me, which is a tie. And the challenger wins when there's a tie. So your Raptor is going to defeat the Cylon threat.
Okay, awesome.
So you're going to commit your ship. So the power 1 Cylon threat card is put in discard pile, as are the mystic value cards. And you defeated a Cylon threat, so you gain 2 influence, and that is because why? Because your Viper that you.
The Viper was strength of 2.
Okay, got it. So you're oh, I think you challenged the Raptor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you get 2
Maybe.
influence?
Is it because that was the strength of your Cylon?
Oh no, I think it was because you drew a mystic value of 1, right?
Yeah, or I drew a mystic value of 2, I thought. We can circle back on that.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, I think it's anyhow. So you get you're gonna go up gain 2 influence there.
Okay. So your Cylon. So now you can choose to resolve my Cylon threat.
Okay.
I think you're going to choose to pass because you only have weak cards
That's right.
available.
Yeah, I'm going to pass because of the weak cards. So that's going to mean I'm going to lose 1 influence because that is the I think that's because that's the Cylon threat value probably. Yeah.
Yep. So you lose an influence or passing on the Cylon.
Yeah.
And
So I'll go ahead and lose an influence.
because you have no remaining ships or personnel, you also lose 1 more, putting you at 5. Interesting.
Okay.
So the Cylon phase is this sort of random variable, I think, to sort of help keep you from not depleting everything or being too aggressive. So it's kind of an interesting,
That is interesting.
little mechanic. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to move to our final phase here. So these guys are prepped again.
Yep.
Actually, I think Adama is going to be prepped. Everything gets untapped.
Yep. We draw 2 cards.
Draw 2 cards. Now the influence score is 5 to 6. So I'm going to go. I think we might have missed it, but yeah, I think I still go first here. I think maybe you added 1 to my influence. I think I'm supposed to.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I clicked the wrong one, perhaps.
So I'm going to.
So I'm sorry. What I should be at how much influence right now? I should be.
You should be at 6.
6. Got it. Okay.
So this is I'm going to play this under Starbuck here. So it's another supply there. And then I think you're going to do something similar.
Yep. I'm going to play a card face down beneath my Colonial Shuttle.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going to get a little aggressive here, and I'm going to attack with my Raptor 227.
All right. I'm going to defend with Raptor 342.
Okay, cool. So
yep.
We don't have any abilities to play, but we're going to reveal this card here.
Mystic values, yeah.
Mystic value. Mine is 1.
Mine is 3. So I will win that challenge, and I'm going to defeat your Raptor 227.
Okay, so I think Raptor 227 is garbage. This is going there as well.
I'm going to go ahead then and play Press Junket because my ship survived.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to, I'll put this Press Junket there. No, I think it goes there. I forget actually where it goes in the alert or the reserve. But anyway, what do you do next?
So you're going to place, but I'm going to. My Viper 113 has no alert ships to defend. So this moment you're waiting for, I play Fire Support, which is a card I have in my hand, which is going to give me a +2. So I think this is like a boost here. So I get a +2. So he is now a power of 4. So you have the ability to play a card.
I'll pass.
Pass.
You're going to play an ability, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to use William Adama here. He has an ability to choose target other unit. If that unit is challenging, it gets +2 power. So it's like a boost. So this is now a total of 6.
Uh-oh.
And since you can't block it, I think this is going to be a KO blow for you.
It is, yeah. So my influence will go down to 0.
Okay. This was a very simplified version of things.
I think so. But yeah, interesting. What are your thoughts, Matt, after this demo game?
Let's come back. Yeah, we'll come back to full screen here, and I'm kind of, I don't know. I didn't really know if I really loved this experience. It was okay.
Well, I will say I liked the step-by-step, you do this, then you do that, quick start guide. If only like the older school Decipher games that had that, a lot of people would have actually known how to play their cards more quickly.
Yeah, I did
That's a
like. I mean, I
fun,
think
that's a
that.
quality of life improvement.
I mean, I know we were using sort of like a quick start guide here, so it
Mhm.
was like very simplistic. I think it's a mishmash of a bunch of games. I
Yeah.
don't know if the theme works for me a little bit because it doesn't really make sense that I'm attacking Colonial One with my rap. Like I get that happens in the show intermittently, but thematically it feels like a little off, right?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, there is conflict, human versus human conflict, but yeah, raptors aren't. Colonial One's not destroying the president's raptors, and
Right.
Billy is not, going out
Like
and challenging the military to I don't know, a duel or something.
yeah. I also think it just, I mean, this is also, very basic, but it seems like the resource pool, right?
Hmm.
It's like pretty limiting where there's three resources, but it
Hmm.
doesn't really mean anything. It's not like
Yeah,
they're just mechanisms to get things out and it doesn't feel like they're super thematically different, right? Where it's like in
yeah,
Magic,
yeah.
you have the five colors. It's like, okay, you're going to go control, you're going to play maybe blue. If you're going to go big creatures, you're going to play green. This, it just feels like it's kind of irrelevant a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't. Maybe with more cards, it feel differently. But again, I think out of the box, the starter should grab you, and it doesn't. I don't see any difference between persuasion as a resource and security. Like you said, they all just kind of feel like resource one, resource two, resource three.
Right.
Um, yeah, maybe it's just too streamlined, and simplified. I don't know. Yeah, it seems like a decently well thought out CCG, but kind of just like generic CCG with Galactica theme placed over it.
Yeah, I think the silent phase adds a nice little because you have to be mindful of how many cards you're putting out, and if you're
Yeah,
putting out too many cards, and that's going to change sort of a dynamic there. Because then you have the Cylon threat. I think there's probably a much more complicated version of the sets that's more interesting. This game only had two sets, correct? So there's not really a
yeah,
lot to build off of.
yeah.
I will just say, feeling the cards, that they do feel a little thin.
Hmm.
Um, but I think this game is pretty simple enough that we figured out how to play it in 30 minutes. I think if you want to pick something like this up and just play with a friend, you love Battlestar Galactica. There's a lot of potential here, and it's the advantage of being cheap is it's pretty low investment cost there.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, so I guess we can talk about it in the future to see if we want to go forward with this game or move on to one of the other forgotten CCGs the community voted on.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was interesting. Definitely interesting to explore this game that could have been a thing, but was very short lived.
yeah. Battlestar Galactica, it's like it's a great franchise. It's just feels like it's had some logistical issues over the years. Like even right now, the IP is owned by like one firm, which is why you
Yeah,
can't find Battlestar Galactica like board game. There's some like internal
yeah.
stuff that's happening that I don't really fully understand. But I love to hear people's thoughts in the comments.
Mhm.
Should we do a little more of this, or I think we might move on to Jedi Knights next. But this was a lot of fun to kind of tinker around with Spell Table and see the format, and we'll try to use this and improve on this in the future. But I think those are kind of my final thoughts. Steve, thanks for playing this with me.
Absolutely. It was good times.
All right, sounds good. We'll catch everybody next time.
Later, Matt.